What's up, gang? Evil here. Just doing a little update on the Razor. So since the last time I posted, I've done a few upgrades on it. The latest being the set of 35s and rock sliders. So we went out to Ray Rocks and I drug the bottom a few times. So probably the last mod, at least that I'm planning on doing, is the skid plate. So I agonized over the decision of a skid plate. Lots of different options out there for this rig. I went with this one from SSS Offroad because it's almost all one piece. There's a piece for the under the transmission, and then the rest of the skid is all one piece. So we're going to be working on putting that on. I've watched a couple videos now, and I already am a little bit with the design of this skid plate because I thought it would be cool to get these included, which sort of fold up to give the skid a bit of a ramp if something should get up there, to a little bit more floorboard protection. But having looked at it, like, they expect you to remove this. So basically this, I mean, it's open back here, like stuff can get in, but this whole section is gone with this installed. So it just, if the wheels turn, it can throw rocks and shit up under the skid. Not real cool with that design. So I paid extra to get these tabs on here, but I may cut this section out of the original skid and leave it there, and then cut these off unless they fit. So I'm getting ready to lift this thing up and pull the stock skid off and see what my options are going to be with these front tabs. I'm a little bit irked with this whole situation, but the main thing with this skid is you don't have to drill up the whole bottom of the rig. This uses all the factory mounting holes except for under the front diff, which doesn't have a skid, so you have to drill for those. There's 5 holes. But the rest of this uses all factory holes, so that really appealed to me. A lot of these skids, they're in 6-7 different sections, and then you're drilling all around the perimeter. I mean, you're just making your tube Swiss cheese. So that wasn't very appealing to me. So anyway, we're going to try this, see if it works out, and we can always go that route later if we want. We'll just drop right off. But let's get this thing up in the air and get the stock skid off and see what we got. All right, I got the front portion of the skid dropped. So here's my dilemma: is those flaps, they basically completely ignore this piece of brush guard. So I think what I'm going to try to do, I'm either going to try and mount this underneath or cut it straight across and sandwich it in between the skid and the rig and see if I can get both. I'm going to bend those tabs up and then see how well they fit with this stock piece. So wish me luck. I can hold that up there while I put the bolts in. All right, next question is this. There's some factory skids that go over this pivot. It looks like the stock just goes right over it, so I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Lots of questions, lots of questions. Time for the main section. You remember all those zip ties that you lose down in the bottom, never to be seen again? There they are. They've been hanging out the whole time. So I'm test fitting with the entire front section of the stock skid on here. You can see where the aftermarket covers, and then this entire piece up here is left open. I haven't had any issues yet I'm still putting in bolts. But so far it fits with that under there. I read posts of some of the KRX guys are just leaving their stock skid on and putting aftermarket over the top of it. So this seems like it's gonna fit. So we're gonna continue tightening stuff down and see how it goes. Boys and girls, this isn't in the instructions, but I think this is the way to go. Now I still have my stock protection as well as the skid sitting in front of it. I had to use one of the long bolts they supply to get that up there, but once I had all these others, I pulled it out and put a stock bolt back in it. So, and then they give you long ones to go along here in case you're doing their rock sliders. So this thing bends, so the hole is pretty far away. So I did use their long hardware along there. So I don't know, I'm pretty impressed, and now I'm extremely happy with how this turned out. Because if you look at some of the pictures, there's just a huge gaping hole here where the tires can just throw mud and rocks and shit, and they're rattling around in there. I mean, there's still some gap, but this is way better. For those of you who want to see what it looks like on the side, so you can see where the stock skid is, and then the SSS on top of it. See, it holds it down a little bit, but not bad. It's not noticeable at all. And then back here, I just have their skid. So I just got to put the guards on those hinges for the trailing arms. I got to do the front diff skid, and then I got to do these big bolts with the spacers in here. It kind of gets that up there. Let's look at this. This seam, super tight. This isn't tight yet, but those will sure up whenever I get them tight. But I like how that fits. There's not a gap there. That shouldn't snag on anything, so I'm pleased. So yeah, I'm gonna go take a break and then we'll finish this up. Well, we're getting close. Drilling the holes for this front skid. I got 2 to go. And then I gotta figure out what to do on the back. Those bolts that they sent aren't wanting to thread into those pieces of sheet metal, so I gotta figure that out. Anyway, we are getting close. Well, there you go. It's possible to do it with one person. It took me around 3 hours, but I stopped and started a lot. I had to go find drill bits, that kind of stuff. Pretty happy with how it turned out. Not able to make this work. Supposed to be a bolt that goes in there. I cannot get anything to thread in there. It says absolutely not to use an impact. I don't know how else to get the thread started, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do here yet. Maybe nothing. It's probably not going to do anything, but other than that, pretty smooth install. Just for today. Pretty happy with the way things turned out. I did notice that, so a lot of people warned about getting these too hot and bending them too far because they can kind of destroy the material. As I tightened up all the bolts underneath, it kind of stretches it, and I kind of pushed them back down. So I don't know if I'm gonna have to reheat them, or I thought about they make these cool panel zip ties that I might pull all this down and then zip tie these up to the stock skid just to get them up there so they don't move around. And I got to purchase some new bolts for the back because what they sent isn't working. A couple people I've talked to that run this skid say they don't even have anything back here. There's bolts like right there, so it's not like it's really loose or anything. If anything, it gives it a little bit of springboard if something hits it. But we'll mess with that and see if we can get that to tighten up. But other than that, pretty happy with it. Just got a little bit of work to do to get these where I want them. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you don't mind. I know everybody says that. I feel like a retard when I say that, but anyway. Just wanted to, there just wasn't a lot on this skid plate on YouTube. So I just wanted to get that out there so people could actually see what it's like, and you know, obviously the things I tried they would be able to do as well if they want. So anyway, that is it. I will catch you guys next time.